The movie starts with this high school guy named Woo Kim-young. He's having a really bad morning. Some mean kids from his school are picking on him. And they're not finished being mean yet. These bullies make him go to the store to buy them breakfast. One of the bullies tells Kim-young to crawl between his legs. Kim-young has no choice but to do it. And it's so embarrassing that people who are walking by start laughing, and even take videos of it on their phones. After that really awkward moment, Kim-young rushes over to the nearest convenience store to grab some food and drinks for those young masters. Then he goes to school. But when he enters the classroom, he finds out that those bullies got what they deserved. The teacher punished them right in front of everyone. The teacher calls Kim-young to the front of the class, and here comes another surprise. He shares some big news. Kim-young is going to transfer to a school in Seoul, so it's his last day with his classmates. He then says goodbye to everyone. A few days later, Kim-young and his family finally move into their new apartment. While he's bringing his stuff inside, he accidentally runs into a girl named Eun-jin, who turns out to be his new neighbor in the apartment complex. She looks friendly and warmly greets Kim-young, but for some reason, he says something really mean. He calls Eun-jin ugly. Of course, his mom scolds him right away for saying such a silly thing. Then his mom starts chatting with Eun-jin. During their short conversation, she finds out that Eun-jin is the top student at her school. But Kim-young doesn't seem to care. He just walks off to their apartment without saying anything else. The next day, Kim-young begins his first day at the new school, and he meets Eun-jin in the lobby. Surprisingly, she invites him to take a photo with her. Turns out Kim-young's mom had asked Eun-jin to take a picture with him as proof that he really went to school. After school, Kim-young is strolling down the hallway when suddenly he spots an incredibly beautiful girl named Park Ye-jin. She's like the school's superstar, and her looks are so stunning that students gather around just to catch a glimpse of her when she's in the elevator. But turns out only the new kid, Kim-young, has the courage to ride in the same elevator as her. Outside the school, there's a big fuss as the girls welcome their school prince, Kim Won-ho. They get super excited, especially when his girlfriend Ye-jin arrives and they seem like the perfect couple. Kim-young realizes he doesn't have a chance, so he starts walking away. But just then, Ye-jin's bodyguard stops him, accusing him of being daring enough to approach her. The bodyguard threatens him, but luckily, Won-ho steps in and prevents the guard from being rude. Back home, Kim-young decides to browse the internet on his laptop. He discovers a cool online store selling fashionable clothes. He doesn't waste any time and asks his mom to buy him some outfits. Surprisingly, his mom is touched because it's the first time Kim-young has asked her to buy him something. A few days later, Kim-young shows up at school wearing a cool jacket he got from that online store his mom bought for him. But even with the new jacket, he still becomes a target for some troublemakers at school. This guy named Chang-ju grabs him and takes him to a hidden spot, asking for money. But Chang-ju notices that they're wearing the exact same jacket. It turns out they both got tricked into buying fake ones from the same shop. They get pretty upset about being scammed, so they decide to go straight to that shop. When they arrive, though, it looks deserted. Nobody's there to greet them, no matter how much they yell and knock on the door. After a while, a guy named Kim Nam-jung, the shop owner, finally shows up and unlocks the door. Kim-young and Chang-ju complain to Nam-jung about the fake jackets, and Kim-young even asks for his money back. But Nam-jung has a different idea. He invites them to come with him to the city center, where there are tons of fashion shops lined up. Turns out Nam-jung is actually a famous person, and people admire him wherever he goes. Seeing how popular Nam-jung is, Kim-young and Chang-ju ask if they can work at his shop. They're willing to do any job if he hires them. And surprisingly, Nam-jung agrees. The very next day, they begin working at Nam-jung's place. They receive some training, have a cool photo shoot, and even do some exercises to get in shape like professional models. A few days later, their school organizes an event to crown the most fashionable students. Everyone is excited, trying their best to look stylish. But when Won-ho and Ye-jin arrive, the whole school is just captivated by them. It's as if no one else can compete with their looks. But hold on, the attention shifts when Kim-young enters the scene with his own unique style. Suddenly, everyone gathers around him, impressed by his appearance. After a few more days go by, while Kim-young is tidying up the classroom, he receives a message from an unknown number. The message asks him to go to the auditorium. He's curious, so he rushes over, but when he arrives, no one's there. Just when he's about to leave, Ye-jin appears. She called him there to let him know that tomorrow is her birthday, and she wants him to come celebrate with her. She even gives him her contact number. So the following night, Kim Young heads to Yi-jin's party. He's the only guy invited, and he sings her a birthday song and gives her a present. But there's another guy, Wonho, who also gives her a gift when they accidentally meet after the party. Later, the school has a sports festival, and everyone wears tracksuits, including Kim Young and Wonho. They decide to jazz up their outfits with some cool accessories and become the center of attention. Of course, the teachers don't like that and scold them for turning a sports event into a fashion show. But that's not all. The teacher tells Wonho that his dad called the school and said he's transferring to a different school. The teacher advises him to leave if he's serious about it instead of causing trouble. Now, things get messy. Wonho gets angry and starts checking out Yi-jin's social media. He finds Kim Young's account and discovers that he works at a shop that sells fake clothes. The very next day, Wonho visits the shop where Kim Young and Changju work. He pretends he wants to shop, but his real intention is to insult them for selling fake stuff. It works like a charm. Kim Young and Changju get really upset at his insults. And when Wonho throws money on the floor without buying anything, it just makes the situation even worse. Shortly after, something unexpected occurs. Namjoon finds himself alone in the shop when suddenly the police show up and arrest him. They accuse him of selling fake goods. When Kim Young and Changju hear about their mentor's arrest, they hurry to the police station to find out what's happening. Fortunately, Namjoon doesn't stay in police custody for too long. Once he's released, he goes straight to Wonho and asks him for a private chat on the rooftop. Namjoon knows that Wonho reported him to the police, and Wonho doesn't deny it. Namjoon is furious because he suffered a significant loss because of it. But Wonho casually offers to compensate for the loss, no matter the cost. That really hurts Namjoon's pride, and he reacts by punching Wonho. However, Wonho's bodyguard intervenes and beats up Namjoon so badly that he has to be hospitalized. Kim Young and Changju visit Namjoon in the hospital. In front of their unconscious mentor, they vow to seek revenge on Wonho. The next day at school, Kim Young goes straight to find Wonho. He asks why Wonho attacked Namjoon. But while they're talking, something strange happens. All the students receive a mysterious video on their phones, and Kim Young gets it too. It's a video of Kim Young being bullied by students at his old school. Suddenly, everyone's attention is on him. Some look at him with pity, but others look at him with disgust. Wonho's bodyguards take advantage of the situation and start beating and insulting Kim Young, calling him a loser. To make matters worse, Yi-jin joins in and calls him a loser too. The following day, Kim Young starts considering the idea of transferring to a different school. However, Changju and Namjoon show up to talk him out of it. They argue that no matter where he goes, someone might uncover his past embarrassment. So running away won't really fix the problem. After some thinking, Kim Young realizes they're right. Later, Kim Young watches a TV show talking about Fashion King, a major fashion modeling event that's coming up. He's interested because Wonho is also participating. Excited, Kim Young goes straight to Namjoon's shop and asks him to train him as a model so he can join Fashion King. And the training begins. Namjoon not only teaches him about fashion, but also helps him with bodybuilding. Finally, the day of Fashion King arrives. Many participants take part, but of course, Wonho steals the show as usual. In the first round, they measure the participants' bodies to see if they have what it takes to be models. Kim Young passes this round without any big issues because he already has an ideal body. Out of all the hundreds of participants, only 21 make it to the next round. In the next round of the competition, the participants need to choose a suit that matches their outfit to create a stylish combination. As expected, Wonho sails through this round effortlessly, given his expertise in fashion. However, when it's Kim Young's turn, he starts to panic because he's not really sure what to pick. Fashion isn't his strong suit after all, so Namjoon has to quietly give him some advice. Unfortunately, before Kim Young can make a decision, his time runs out. He's left with no other option but to randomly choose a suit, and it turns out to be a strange and unique one. When he steps out before the judges, they are amazed by his appearance. They see that Kim Young has brought a fresh and completely unique fashion vibe. They all agree that he deserves to move on to the next round. After the event, Kim Young goes to Namjoon's shop. While he's waiting for the others, Namjoon suddenly shows up with a completely different look. Unlike their first meeting, Kim Young compliments her appearance now. Soon, Changju and Namjoon join them, and they all celebrate Kim Young's victory. But just as they are raising their glasses, the organizers of Fashion King arrive with dresses for the next round. Meanwhile, Wonho asks his father for permission to participate in one last fashion show competition. But his father refuses, wanting him to transfer schools immediately. However, Wonho is determined to compete in the competition until it's finished. On the day of the final round, the theme is dating. The participants have to ask women out and wear the dresses they were given earlier. After this round, only Wonho and Kim-young make it to the finals. It's down to just the two of them. For the final round, the theme is the only thing in my life. The participants have to exchange one item they cherish. Kim-young receives a note from Wonho, and Wonho gets a school uniform from Kim-young. Kim-young needs to buy the clothes he'll wear for the final round, but since Wonho gave him very little money, he decides to purchase second-hand clothes and then modify them to look fancy. Changju, Yeonjin, and Namjung help him sew the clothes for Kim-young, but they get really tired from doing it. While they're asleep, Kim-young tries on the clothes and checks himself out in the mirror. Yeonjin wakes up and compliments his appearance. Kim-young thanks her and finally confesses his feelings, hugging her from behind. On the day of the final round, Wonho is all set to go on stage. But there's a problem. Kim-young hasn't shown up, and the staff can't reach him on the phone. It turns out that as Kim-young was heading to the event venue, a thief on a motorbike snatched his bag and rode off. Kim-young desperately tries to get his bag back because the clothes he needs to wear for the event are in there. He manages to retrieve his bag, but he gets injured in the process after being dragged for a distance. On the other hand, the committee can't wait any longer for Kim-young, so they ask Wonho to come on stage. But Kim-young is still determined to make it to the event, even though his body is covered in wounds and blood. He's weak and in pain, but he manages to reach the location, although he can only sit outside. Fortunately, Yeonjin and a staff member spot him and inform the boss about his arrival, even though appearing on stage is tough for him due to his injuries. People gather around Kim-young, including the cameraman, when they see his serious condition. Even his mother finds him and begs him to go to the hospital while crying, but he keeps refusing. Seeing how determined Kim-young is, Namjung gets some clothes and helps him put them on. Once he's ready, Kim-young limps toward the room where the final event is happening. In the end, Kim-young confronts Wonho and returns the money he was given. He didn't use the money at all. The MC calls Wonho back to the stage, and he leaves with a defeated look. The winners of Fashion King are decided based on their outfits and how they walk on stage. So Kim-young goes up on stage and walks to the cheers of the audience. As he performs, he thinks to himself that he's not a loser anymore like he used to be. He is the winner of Fashion King.